Hello and welcome to Honovi, the honey-loving grizzly bear. Right there is Honovi, and that bear loves the honey. Loves the honey. Yes, she does. Okay, hey, this is an on-your-own video, so you should have solved the entire problem on your own, and now you're watching this video with your paper in front of you, and if you make a mistake, no worries at all, my friend. Simply pause the video, fix your mistake. That is the fastest way to learn. So now on to our scenario. Honovi is always on the lookout for bees. She follows them back to the hive and collects as much honey as possible. Yesterday, Havani found a hive. While the bees were crawling under her fur and stinging her again and again, Havani stole 4/5 pounds of honey. If Havani divides the honey into portions that are each 1/8 pound, how many portions can she make? So the very first thing you should have done was written down the big old hint. And right here it is. How many 1/8 are in 4/5? So hopefully you have that all written down. And now let's move on and do our illustration. So the first thing I want to do is write the 4/5. So I'm going to create a fraction box, and I'm going to put it over here. I'm going to make it a good size box, right? And I'm breaking it into 5 parts. 5 parts means 4 lines. So I'm going to draw 4 lines across here, and I've got 1, 2, 3, and 4 lines. And now Havani's got a bunch of honey, and the honey is 4/5 of a pound, right? So she gets 4 of the 5, right? She gets 4/5 of a pound. I'm going to try and center that, make it as good as possible. And so you should have started with 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 5 parts. So she's got 4/5 of a pound. Now, she divides them into 1/8 parts, right? Well, if I want 8 parts, that means I'm going to draw 7 lines going up and down. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 lines. That should give me 8 parts. Let's double check. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and sure enough, 8 parts. Super. Now, I need to break these into 1/8, right? So I'm going to start moving some of these. I'm going to take this one and move it up here. So let me do that. I'll take that, and I'm going to just move it right there to fill this in. And now, if you think about it, I've got 1 right here. So this is 1/8, right? So that's 1 portion that she's created, right? And then I'm going to take this one away, and I'm going to put it right here, right, to create another 1/8. So here I've got another 1/8 right there. Lovely, my friends, right? And then I'm going to take yet another one away, right? And I'm going to fill it in over here. I'll move it right over here. And now I've got another 1/8 right here. This is lovely, right? And then, yes, you've got the pattern by now. I'm going to take this one away and fill it in right here. And let's circle that 1/8, right? Bingo. Lovely. And then I'm going to take this one away, and I'm going to fill it in right here. It's got a little bit of the red there. That's all right, though. And now I'm going to circle that 1/8, right there. Perfect. And now I'm going to take one more away here, and I'm going to fill it in right here. So even though I take it away, I put it right back, right, just in a different pile or section. And then I've got another 1/8 right there, right? And that is lovely, my friends. And then I've got right here, actually I'm going to enlarge this, and as you see, I've got 1 and 2, right, out of, now in order to have a full 1/8, I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts. So I've got 2 out of the 5 parts. So I've got 2 out of the 5, right? And then I got to count each of these. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 1/8, right? So I've got 6 full 1/8. And then I also have these 2 out of 5, which would make another 1/8, right? So your answer is that she has how many portions? Let's go back to this because this is really cool, all right? So here she is. Here's Havani, right? And she stole all this honey from the bees, got stung in the meanwhile, right? And then she broke all the honey into 1/8 parts, right? And she's got 6 1/8 parts and 2/5 of a 1/8 part left over, right? So that's your answer. That's the answer right there. Hey, this is what it looks like for the illustration, and the algorithm looks a little bit different. Let's go ahead and create our algorithm right now. So we're going to take the 4/5, and we got 4/5, and we're dividing it into 1/8 parts, right? And so the rule for dividing fractions is you can either use your mountains and your valleys, right? Or you can multiply the reciprocal. So that's what we're going to do first. I'm going to take 4/5 and I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal, which means I'm going to flip the 1/8 upside down, which turns this into, if I flip it upside down, the 1 goes on the bottom, the 8 goes on the top, and now I'm ready to rock and roll, my friends. So with multiplying, you just multiply the numerators and you multiply the denominators. So 8 times 4 is going to give me 32. So I've got 32 right there. And then 5 times 1 is going to give me 5, right? So now if you notice, this is an improper fraction because it's top heavy. The numerator is bigger than the denominator. So it's an improper or top heavy fraction, which means I need to convert it into a mixed number. And when I'm thinking about fractions, I can always think of them in 3 ways. I can say 32/5, 32 out of 5, or 32 divided by 5. And that's what I need to do if I want to change it into a mixed number. So 32 divided by 5. And 5 is going to go into 30 6 times, right? So I go 6 times 5 is going to give me 30, right? And actually I said 30, but it's actually going into 32, right? It just gives me 5 times 6 gives me 30. So then when I subtract it, I get 2 left over. And then your remainder turns into your numerator, right? So you got 2 out of the divisor, 5, right? So when you have a remainder, that turns into the numerator and your divisor turns into the denominator. So what we've got is 6 and 2/5. And look at that, lo and behold, it agrees with our illustration right there. And that is always wonderful, my friend. Hey, so now I did promise you that I would also show you mountains and valleys. So let's go ahead and do that. So now for mountains, I'm going to create my first mountain by going 5 times 1. And that's going to come down here. 5 times 1 is going to give me 5. And then I'll do my valley, 4 times 8. 4 times 8 is going to give me 32. And as you see, that's the same exact answer. So whether you use mountains and valleys or you multiply by the reciprocal, you'll get the same answer, right? It'll be top heavy or improper, and then you're going to have to divide, and you'll get your mixed number, and it should agree with your algorithm here. Hey, that is how you solve this problem, and hopefully you got it all correct. But no worries if you didn't. If you didn't get it correct, simply pause the video, fix your mistake. That is the fastest way to learn, my friend. Hey, until next time, I hope you have a fantastic day. I'll see you soon.